Welcome everyone to the Week 3 edition of the Sentinel High School Football Preview video. I'm here with Sentinel reporter David Rung. I'm Chris Hopkins. We'll be covering two games this week, the first being Carlisle Valley at the new Bishop McDevitt Stadium, Rocco Ortenzio Stadium.
Yes.
I hope I said that right. We'll have Dave Rung there. Dave, why don't you tell us a little about what we expect to see?
This is definitely Carlisle Valley's biggest non-conference game this year after playing two York County foes. Old Commonwealth Division rivals that got separated a little bit after McDevitt went to the Keystone. Still play every year, and they're going to continue doing that. Last year it was a 48-28 victory for Bishop McDevitt at Chapman Field. And this year, the two different teams, both of them were a little bit different than they were a year ago. Cumberland Valley obviously has new coach Michael Whitehead, although that doesn't seem to be changing the product on the field nearly as much as I think a lot of people thought. But they're going to have a big task on their hands with this McDevitt team. McDevitt looks like definitely one of the best AAA teams in the state in the early going, and they already dispatched Central Dauphin last week in Harrisburg in Week 1. So they showed that they could already beat Quad A Commonwealth opposition. But McDevitt, they have their two-headed running back Andre Robinson and Rashad Lawson have combined for now I got to do the math. 417 yards and 6 touchdowns so far this season, and that's the attack they like to use. They have a new quarterback, Nick Marsilio, who's filling in. They're filling in his first year starting. He hasn't thrown the ball that much, but he's been pretty accurate. I think about 65% completion rate. And you're always going to have a quarterback at McDevitt that's able to get it out to the weapons. Then for Cumberland Valley, obviously they have the two Tylers, Tyler Heisey, Tyler Updegraff. They're a little two-headed running back monster, and their quarterback's new also, Chris Galbraith. He's only thrown it 12 times, completed 3, and I think that he might have to do a little bit more throwing against the Crusaders to do some damage. McDevitt's defense, I think, is what really is standing out there. They've only allowed 21 points over their 2 games, and they haven't allowed a single point in the second half. And that's what Cumberland Valley's going to have to come out fast and get a lead, and that's obviously what they want to do anyway, because they want to be able to run the ball in the second half and grind that clock away like they're so good at doing.
Yeah, I was at that game last year, and it just seemed like Bishop McDevitt was just way too fast for that Cumberland Valley team last year. And this team is a little bit different. They have a few key players back and everything like that, but I don't know, what would you say is going to be the key for Cumberland Valley to kind of stay in this game and do what Harrisburg wasn't able to do?
I think they're going to have to get Galbraith going in the passing game. Doesn't need to throw it 45 times, but he's only thrown it an average of 6 times a game in the first 2 games. A solid, 18 attempts, and hopefully gets into the double-digit completions. Has a few key throws on 3rd down. I think that's definitely what's going to keep him in the game because. Head-to-head in the line of scrimmage, I don't see that being too much of an advantage for Cumberland Valley. It could possibly be even, but that's not enough to get them really going to run the ball 42 times. And then next, at the same time, 7 p.m. Friday, will be our game of the week as chosen by the fans, overwhelmingly, we have to say.
Big Spring fans there.
Yes. Boiling Springs at Big Spring at Bulldog Stadium there. Jeff Coughlin's going to be there covering it for us, and but Chris is going to break it down for us a little bit here.
Just looking at these two teams right now, it just looks like two teams kind of headed in opposite directions. Big Spring this year has kind of been a pleasant surprise to see how well the Bulldogs have been doing. Led by Garrett Chestnut, a sophomore quarterback, 383 yards passing on already, 6 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions and everything. I was at their game against Susquehanna last week, and they had their times where they did look like a young team. They had a sophomore quarterback, a sophomore running back, and Tristan Robb. But then there was just other times you could just tell they're having fun. I know I've said that plenty of times already, but you can just tell a new coach, young kids, and everything like that. They're just out there to play the game, and they let a 4th quarter comeback where they held Susquehanna scoreless and were able to score twice and get that lead back and hold on to it. And it was an exciting game to watch. Like I mentioned, another big sophomore, Tristan Robb, he really showed that he could kind of carry the workload. He's been their premier back so far, 208 yards in 2 games, 7.4 yards a clip. He's just been a big playmaker for him, kind of stepped up whenever they needed 3rd and short, 3rd and long, whatever it be. They would just give him the ball, and he just kind of pound his way to get to that first down markers, and just really just helped this Big Spring team move along and get to 2-0. On the other side of the football, we have Boiling Springs. This is Nate Fryer's 2nd year in coaching. So far, they haven't gotten out of the gates quite strong. This is where Boiling Springs was able to get their only win last year against a big spring in a game that didn't feature a single touchdown for either side.
5-0. It's one thing I think I put in the preview that I think this one's going to feature at least one touchdown.
I would say so.
I think so.
But just back and forth, Boiling Springs on both offensive and defense haven't really had their way. Just 21 points for, 72 points allowed. So I think in order to hang in this game with the Big Spring team that has shown their offense can be pretty explosive at times, they're going to really need to find a way to slow down Garrett Chestnut, maybe put some extra guys in the box and get to him quick, kind of hurry up the quarterback, make sure that they could stop Rob in the backfield too from breaking free like he was able to do against Susquehanna. Offensively for this Bowling Springs team, like I said, only the 21 points. It's better than they were last year. They didn't score their first touchdown last season until week 6.
Right.
They've already been able to find a few, but it starts with, again, another young quarterback kind of in here in his first season, Dalton Showaker. Just a 94 passing yards so far, but he showed some flashes on the ground,
right.
And it's going to come down to whether he can make the plays or if he can get the ball to their prime receiver, Tyler Wise, who has shown he can be quite a playmaker too.
Right. Yeah, so what does Boiling Springs have to do to, I think both of us would agree, pull off the upset? That's what it would be if they
it would probably definitely be an upset if they were to be Big Spring here. Like I said, I think it's gonna come down to slowing down that Big Spring offense. They have their young players who have not really shown any jitters or anything through the first 2 weeks, but maybe if they can get some pressure on their young quarterback Chestnut and just kind of make him make some mistakes early, and if Boiling Springs is able to get on the board and kind of put some pressure and get the lead, then maybe they could pull this one off. But it's going to be an uphill battle for them, that's for sure.
All right, that'll do it. Those are the 2 games that we're covering this weekend. There's 9 other games involving local teams. Few good ones in there. Just a couple ones that I wanted to highlight there. Carlisle, Manheim Township might be Carlisle's best chance to get the win before the Commonwealth season starts, which is going to be tough for them. Mechanicsburg Northern, backyard battle. Northern up and down. Trying to see how they can do against this talented Mechanicsburg side. And Columbia and Trinity. Trinity going for their first win still in week 3, which isn't a normal occurrence for them. But make sure you tune in there. Keep it tuned to our Twitter page, Sentinel High School Football, for all the updates Friday night. And make sure you pick up a copy of our preview section in Friday's paper. Thanks.